So the carbon capture storage is simply capturing the carbon and then transport them and inject them below the subsurface. The fact is, Indonesia is blessed because we do have this huge amount of the carbon storage, the storage itself.
The empty oil well or gas well.
If we divided the 700 gigatons with the emission currently probably 600 or 700 millions, so we can actually carry for over than 1,000 years of CO2 of Indonesia only.
1,000?
So 1,000 years.
1,000 years?
Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes! Oh yes! The carbonizers, carbon activists, carbon friends all over the world, welcome back to another episode of Carbon Forum. With me, Poempida Hidayatulloh as the host, as always. This is going to be very interesting because today we've been waiting for this one because we will be talking about CCS, carbon capture and storage. And with us today, we already have a very interesting guest. It's a she, and she's the head of developer of the Indonesian Carbon Captures and Storage Center, ICCSC. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. With us, Ibu Diofanny Putri. I'm right, aren't I?
Yes,
right,
yes, correct.
That's good. Good. Right. So tell me more about ICCSC.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for your invitation.
No. I thank you. Thanks for being here.
It was an honor to talk here with your podcast here. Annually, if you ask me about Indonesia CCS Center, we are the independent organization that we are currently acting as the accelerator of Indonesia to pushing Indonesia as the regional CCS hub, the carbon capture and storage hub in Asia.
Wow.
So we're not just a normal organization, I would say, because we acting as the accelerator. We do have this specific role as we do have so many hands to actually work with. We work with the government, we work with the partners, we work with the industry players. So we want to connect all of the dots. You know, as the accelerator, we have to act as literally the center of the CCS.
Right.
So we help government to advocate them about the regulation for the CCS. We also talking with the partners regionally, internationally. We also dealing with the United Nations, with the US, CLDP, with Singapore, South Korea, with Japanese, with Australia and everything. Also in Norway. And also we work with the industry players, as we know that industry players is the important thing because they the ones who will work for the CCS in Indonesia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And there are a lot of people who actually are not aware yet with the issue on the CCS. Can you specifically sort of mention and explain to them related to the CCS? I know that already, but I just need to introduce.
So probably CCS is quite new in Indonesia, but luckily, actually CCS is already there. Outside Indonesia, it's been implemented in UK, US, Canada, especially in Norway. Currently, we benchmarking Norway so much. We look to them so much for this technology. So the carbon capture storage is simply capturing the carbon and then transport them and inject them below the subsurface. So if you can just imagine, if we have this analog for CCS, imagine that you kind of having a barbecue, Korean barbecue or something. So when we grilled the meat and then we just the steam is captured by the host and then the capture by the host and then
the smoke
the smoke is captured and then it is transported through the pipeline or probably with the shipping as well, and then at somewhere place safe we just inject them deeply underground. It's probably more than 1 and 2 kilometers underground. So if you imagine, it's probably 9 times of Monas. below there, so it's perfectly safe.
6 or 9 times, depending upon the
Upon
the
the
depth.
the depth of the reservoir of the layers that we want to inject it and storage the carbon,
That's right,
so it's
that's right.
definitely safe. So yeah, it's as simple as that, the process. So we just want to just like capturing all of the carbon and emission from the atmosphere, from the chimney of the industry and everything, and then transport them and then inject them. So we will not see the carbon in the atmosphere anymore.
Right. Yeah, I understand that the greenhouse gases and also the emission still keep sort of being produced right now in Indonesia. So removing them from the air and then put it in a storage and then sort of put it away underneath the soil, then it's going to be very interesting. But what I'm saying is, I heard that the investment is kind of high, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And,
it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. So I think that what I'm saying is, there's going to be like only a few people that can, a few sort of parties that can actually sort of contribute in this case, because when you're dealing with big things, and I don't think anybody can actually get involved in this. But how big is the minimum scale of these so-called player, industrial player or whatever, investment sort of thing? Yeah.
So if I would say number, it's going to huge, right? It's probably, if you want to build one CCS cluster in Indonesia, if we benchmark with the Norway, it will cost probably more than $2 billion.
$2 billion for
the CCS, for all of the value
for
chain.
What's the capacity of the?
It's around 2.5 million tons per annum of carbon that we want to store.
Oh, 2 million.
2 million, 0.5,
2.5 million.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's big. But fortunately, I think, we have to go with the big players first, because they are the one who can actually pay for that, right?
$2 billion, yeah.
$2 billion, yeah. So as we know
this
that...
actually is not that expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But everyone just said that.
According to the rich ones, not me.
You will say that. Because as we know, probably if we compare it with the oil and gas field, it's kind of probably the cost is the same or twice if we want to develop a oil and gas field, right?
Really the same thing.
So but I think regarding the investment itself, it's funny because currently, because the whole world is pretty much concerned about the climate change, so everything has to be green, right?
Yeah.
So US, China, UK, Europe, they want to go green. So if they want to invest on the industry, they have to actually evaluate about the green content within their industry. So they have to do something about the carbon and emission that they will
They have
produce,
to deal with it.
right?
They have to reduce it first and then probably remove it.
Yeah, funny thing, probably I will just give one example. So there's one company that want to invest for the petrochemical industry in Indonesia, but the FID, the final investment decision criteria, is one. Can we do the CCS in Indonesia? Because they have to do the CCS in order to this petrochemical industry running. If they cannot do the CCS in Indonesia, they will find another place they can do the CCS. So that's why we currently calling the CCS as the license to invest, because we do have to do the CCS before they invest for the petrochemical industry. Petrochemical industry itself, that will be cost probably 15 billions. And then in addition to it, we have to do the CCS until 3 billions out of it. So if we compare the cost, as you said, if we compare with the other industry that probably costs higher more than that, it's not that much. But probably they will compare it with another decarbonization options, right? 2 billions, you can plant trees, you can do everything with those huge amount of money instead of doing CCS. But if it's talking about the amount of the carbon that actually can be removed from the atmosphere, from the air, is quite huge, 2.5 million tons per annum.
Right. You must be aware that the presidential decree related to these CCS was actually issued like a couple of months back. Quite recently, not too far away.
Yeah, it's 30th January. I remember the date.
Okay, so that's good. You have to remember the date.
Yeah.
I'm not that good in sort of memorizing numbers. But what I'm saying is, as far as I understand that the allocations on the CCS
Storage
activities when it comes to the investment, it will be allocated 30% only for the foreign entities.
Yeah.
70% should be the local players. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is how do the government will actually attract local players to come into this business and then taking over these 70% of these sort of CCS development activities?
Yeah, that's interesting, Bapak, because, as we mentioned that it will be cost so much. So we hope that our CCS hub vision will be the first market-driven CCS hub. So as we know that Indonesia currently doesn't have any carrot and stick for carbon. We don't apply the carbon tax yet, right? There is the carbon pricing for that, but I don't think it's implemented yet. Next year, right? But I don't think we will issue some kind of incentive for that. We cannot hope for, I don't know, the incentive kind of thing.
Do you expect any incentive for that?
I really do. I really do. I really want.
Don't you think the carbon price for CCS is already high?
Already high.
Yeah, it's already high, right?
You're right. It's already high.
So it is interesting for you. So you don't need incentive whatsoever.
Oh, we do need that actually. that we will be helping for that. Industry helping for that. And
I thought big investors normally they don't need incentives.
Pretty much still, I would say. But interestingly, because of that, if we're talking about we don't have any carrot and stick yet. So, but we know,
agree with that.
But we know that our neighboring countries such as Singapore and Japan and probably Australia, they want to actually implement those carrot and stick, right? The Singapore and the Japan and the Australia, but they don't have any storage. Probably they have, but it's so limited.
Yeah.
And funnily,
especially Singapore.
It's obvious
Singapore
though. Yeah. Anyway, they're smaller in Jakarta. We cannot hope that much. And then, the fact is, Indonesia is blessed, but because we do have this huge amount of the carbon storage, the storage itself. The empty oil well or gas well. Right? Yes, the reservoir. So it's not only the reservoir for depleted oil and gas reservoir. We can storage it in the saline aquifer. So there's two options currently ongoing in outside the world. We can do injection within the depleted oil and gas in reservoir and also the saline aquifer. And then we calculate the storage capacity of Indonesia, and the number is 700 gigatons.
Yeah.
So it's huge. How huge is that? If we divide it, the storage capacity.
That's the existing one, is it?
The existing one, yes. The available one right now. The available ones. And if we divide it, that number with the emission of Indonesia.
Well, it's already surpassed the NDC,
Yeah.
It's a lot more.
Exactly. If we divided the 700 gigatons with the emission currently probably 600 or 700 millions, so we can actually carry for over than 1,000 years of CO2 of Indonesia only.
1,000?
So 1,000 years.
1,000 years?
Years.
Oh, years. Sorry. I thought 1,000 a year. 1,000 years.
Okay. Yeah, for carbon, right? That's only for our emission, domestic emission. So because we do have that huge amount of the storage capacity, I think, and we know that Singapore and Japan needs that because they have only limited storage capacity. So we can attract that. We can provide the service that, hey, you can partner with us if you want to. We can just sell our storage capacity. So that's why we call it as the market driven, and they already interested for that. They're willing to invest for that. They want to do the CCS cross-border itself, and it's stated also in the presidential regulation. So once the investment is from the regional and also from the international coming to Indonesia, we hope that this one will ignite the domestic players, because we know that domestic player doesn't have any carrot and stick yet. But if the infrastructure is already built by the foreign investor, and then we activate it surrounding area, because he says it's not only about capturing, transporting, and injecting, but we can also attracting some industry that want to invest. For example, if steel industry or cement industry want to invest and build and produce some kind of a low carbon cement, low carbon steel
Yeah,
or
yeah.
probably blue ammonia, blue hydrogen, they can build their plants around that CCFs. So that's why we call it CCS hub. So we attract more investment. And if the local player wants to play with it, they can just tap in with the probably lower price. So that's our goals actually, to push Indonesia to be CCS hub. So this is kind of a literally new emerging industry that we want to create right now.
Good.
Yeah.
It's been very interesting. You made like very good points on these CCS things. Would you like to address a couple of sentences to the audience of Carbon Farm State? Please, by all means.
Okay, sure. Decarbonizer, sir. Decarbonization.
We call it the carbon activists, carbon friends, or decarbonizers.
Decarbonizer. Okay. So decarbonizer. Thank you for watching this podcast regarding the CCS. I know it's probably quite a new topic for you, but I promise you that CCS is kind of a really interesting for the future, I would say, because what we're doing here is currently for a better Indonesia. It's not only talking about the environmental thingy, but we want to help for the economic benefit of Indonesia itself. We believe that this very new emerging industry will help Indonesia to actually grow the economic growth, probably rising the GDP and also helping for the environmental itself and DC and everything. And also we want to actually invite you to probably be our kind of supporter and warriors for the CCS. And if you want to learn, or if you want to getting more about the CCS, Indonesia CCS Center is helping for you.
Wow, extraordinary. Thank you very much, Ibu Dio.
Yeah, you're welcome.
How do I call you? Diofanny?
Diof is actually Diof.
Diof.
I know it's weird. Yes, usually
but everyone calls you Diof.
Yes.
Okay, Ibu Diof. Well, anyway, just one more thing. If I have like investors like who is interested in investing in a CCS project, for example, does any member of your association already have what you call it, concessions for the empty wells?
Yeah. Currently, we Indonesia have 15.
No, what
projects.
I'm saying, they already like have the concessions just straight away. Coming. Oh, okay.
Yeah, already there.
Okay, we should talk about it, and then we will set up a very interesting business in the future. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pak Bumpy.
Okay. Well, the carbonizers, carbon activists, carbon friends all over the world. That was Ibu Diofanny Putri. Wow, extraordinary. We just talked about a lot of things related to the carbon capture and storage, and you would see that the potential is there. It's just a matter how we actually sort of put them all together and then make it work. So hopefully we will be able to support their efforts in this sort of noble endeavor related to decarbonization. And hopefully we will see you again in the next chapter or in the next episode of Carbon Forum. With me, Poempida Hidayatulloh. Until next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.